Building the Affordable America. From Housing Crisis to Housing Toolbox. Accessory homes missing. Middle housing, shared land. Factory construction, adaptive reuse. Infrastructure, permitting reform, new financing, and the wizard's attempt to stop asking why housing is broken and start asking how we fix it. Preamble. The wizard had filled an entire wall with problems. That was usually a bad sign. Across the laboratory were diagrams from Book 1. Land cost zoning, minimum lot size, setbacks, homeowners associations, mortgages, interest property, tax insurance, utilities, tiny house restrictions, manufactured home restrictions, septic permits, financing. Dizzy stood in front of the wall. That's depressing, the wizard nodded. We have successfully identified approximately 17 ways to prevent somebody from obtaining an inexpensive roof. Congratulations! Thank you. That wasn't a compliment. Shadow the cat was asleep on a pile of zoning ordinances. This was apparently the most productive use anyone had yet found for them. The wizard sat down. Something bothered him. Book 1 had explained a great deal. It explained why a $50,000 house could become a $200,000 housing problem. It explained why owning land did not necessarily mean someone could live on it. It explained why tiny houses could be perfectly functional and still struggle to find legal homes. It explained why factory-built housing could save money while encountering entirely different regulatory and financial systems. It explained mortgages, taxes, insurance, maintenance, associations. But explanations alone did not house anybody. The wizard stood up. Enough! Dizzy looked concerned. Enough what? Problems. What are you going to do? Start solving them. The second question. The first book asked, why does housing cost so much? Book 2 asks, what can we actually do about it? Not theoretically. Not 50 years from now. Not after discovering some magical construction material obtained from Mars. What can America do with the land it already has, the houses it already has, the buildings it already has, the technology it already possesses, the factories it already operates, and the legal authority already distributed among thousands of states, counties, and municipalities? The wizard erased the board. Then he wrote 3 words: cost, land, time. Those 3 categories closely resemble the framework HUD is currently using in its 2026 recommendations for reducing regulatory barriers to home construction, reduce unnecessary costs, make land more usable for housing, and shorten the time required to get housing built. Dizzy studied the words. That's it? No. Underneath them, the wizard added, finance, infrastructure, ownership, energy, preservation, flexibility, then one final word. Permission. Permission again? Permission may be one of the cheapest housing technologies ever invented. Dizzy stared at him. Permission isn't a technology. Sometimes it works faster than one. The cheapest new house may already exist. The wizard begins Book 2 with a strange proposition. Perhaps some of America's least expensive future housing does not have to be constructed from the ground up. Maybe it already exists in unfinished form. It could be a basement, a garage, an attic, a backyard, an oversized house occupied by one person, a vacant motel, an obsolete office building, a struggling shopping center, an unused school, a surplus government parcel, a church parking lot, a manufactured home community, or 5 acres where regulations currently permit only one dwelling. The wizard writes, before building new land, use the land we already have better. Dizzy raises his hand. You can't build new land. Precisely. The backyard revolution. Consider America's existing detached houses. Millions sit on lots containing backyards, side yards, garages, basements, and other potentially usable space. Suppose only a modest percentage could legally accommodate a second small dwelling. That could create housing without purchasing an entirely separate parcel for every new household. This is the idea behind the accessory dwelling unit, or ADU. The house already has a neighborhood, a street, electric service, water infrastructure in many locations, emergency access, schools, trash collection, community services. We aren't creating civilization from scratch. We are inserting another modest residence into civilization that already exists. That is why the backyard house becomes the first experiment of Book 2, the missing middle. Then the wizard draws something else. Not a high-rise apartment, not a large suburban house. Something between them. A duplex, triplex, fourplex, townhouse, small courtyard, cottage cluster, garage apartment, small apartment building. These forms are frequently grouped under the concept of missing middle housing. HUD has recently been studying barriers to housing forms ranging from ADUs through duplexes, townhomes, and small apartment buildings, recognizing that financing and other non-zoning barriers can suppress their production even where zoning allows them. The wizard becomes fascinated. Perhaps America's housing choices have sometimes become unnecessarily binary, large detached house or large apartment complex. There are many possibilities between those extremes. One lot, more than one home. Book 1 discovered that land can cost more than the inexpensive house placed upon it. Book 2 therefore attacks land cost mathematically. Suppose a parcel costs $150,000. Put one residence on it, $150,000 raw land cost per household. Put 3 appropriate residences on it, $50,000 per household. 6, $25,000. 10, $15,000. Real development costs do not divide that neatly because additional units require infrastructure and improvements. But the principle survives. Land cost can be shared. This doesn't mean putting skyscrapers everywhere. It means permitting housing forms appropriate to different places. Some neighborhoods may support an ADU, others a duplex, others townhouses, others apartments, others large rural lots. Affordable housing requires more than one geometry. Stop building every house as a prototype, then the wizard returns to the factory from Chapter 7. Housing is strange. America mass produces cars, trucks, airplanes, refrigerators, computers, solar panels, batteries, and enormous amounts of sophisticated equipment. Yet many homes are still assembled largely as individual construction projects exposed to weather at the final site. The wizard asks, what happens if housing becomes partly manufacturing? Manufactured homes already demonstrate the potential. HUD notes that modern HUD code manufactured homes can provide lower average construction costs than site-built homes, while modular construction offers potential advantages in cost efficiency, quality control, and schedule predictability. HUD also identifies zoning, financing, and delivery barriers that limit broader adoption. So Book 2 will not merely praise factory construction. It will investigate how to solve the placement, financing, and infrastructure problems surrounding it. The building that already exists. The wizard then points at an empty office building. What's wrong with that? It's an office. Nobody's using it. Correct. People need housing. Correct. Put apartments inside. Dizzy gives him the familiar look. What? Windows. Fine. Plumbing. Fine. Fire exits. Fine. Ventilation. Fine. Floor depth. Fine. Zoning. The wizard throws the marker. Adaptive reuse is not automatically cheap. Some buildings are terrible candidates. Others may be excellent. The solution isn't convert every empty building. It is identify the buildings where conversion actually works. That means studying the structure before spending money. The land without a house. Then comes another resource. Government owns land. Counties own land. Cities own land. Transit authorities own land. Churches own land. Hospitals own land. Universities own land. Nonprofits own land. Private companies possess surplus property. Some land is essential to current or future operations. Some isn't. The wizard asks, what if suitable surplus land became a housing resource? Not free giveaways without controls. structured programs, long-term ground leases, community land trusts, public-private partnerships, cooperatives, affordable housing covenants. One of the greatest savings possible may be reducing the amount of expensive private land a household must purchase, separating the house from the land. This leads the wizard to one of the most interesting tools in the entire book: community land trusts. Under a typical community land trust structure, the organization retains ownership of the underlying land, while households may own homes subject to long-term ground leases and resale rules designed to preserve affordability. HUD research identifies shared equity models, such as community land trusts, as a way of keeping housing affordable for much longer periods. And Fannie Mae reported purchasing shared equity loans through models including community land trusts and resale restricted programs in 2025. The concept solves a specific problem. When public or charitable money makes a house affordable once, what happens when that owner eventually sells at full market price? The affordability may disappear. A land trust can instead attempt to preserve part of the affordability for the first family, the second family, the third family, and generations thereafter. The wizard writes, "Don't subsidize the same piece of land over and over if we can preserve the affordability." Ownership does not need to be binary. The wizard has another revelation. American housing discussions frequently produce only two boxes: rent or own. But there are other arrangements: community land trusts, housing cooperatives, limited equity cooperatives, shared equity ownership, long-term ground leases, resident-owned manufactured home communities, lease purchase arrangements, multi-generational family ownership. HUD research describes community land trusts, limited equity cooperatives, and deed-restricted ownership as major shared equity models capable of preserving affordability while still offering residents varying forms of ownership and participation. Housing can have more than two buttons. Cutting red tape without cutting safety. Then comes perhaps the hardest part. The wizard takes two red markers. On one he writes, "Safety." On the other, "Delay." These are not the same thing. A properly inspected electrical installation protects people. A requirement that an application sit untouched for 6 months does not make the electrical installation safer. A structural review can protect occupants. Requiring the same information to be manually entered onto 5 different government forms may not. A septic evaluation protects water supplies. Requiring a wet signature when a secure digital signature would work may simply add time. HUD's current state and local best practices guidance specifically recommends modernizing permitting systems, eliminating obsolete administrative requirements, and reviewing residential construction processes for unnecessary technological and procedural burdens. The wizard therefore establishes the Book 2 principle: remove delay, duplication, and arbitrary cost before removing safety. That distinction matters. The objective is not no rules. The objective is smarter rules. The one-stop housing desk. The wizard invents a fictional local government office. Someone walks in with plans for a small house. Instead of visiting planning, zoning, building, roads, water, sewer, health department, fire department, and several other offices independently, the project receives one electronic case number. Every agency reviews the same digital file. The homeowner sees what has been submitted, what is missing, who is reviewing it, what fees apply, and what deadline is expected. Routine code-compliant designs could potentially receive expedited review. Pre-approved standard housing plans might go faster still. The wizard writes, one application, one digital file, one status page, multiple reviewers. Dizzy looks amazed. That's technologically possible. We have landed machines on Mars. So yes, pre-approved homes. Then the wizard asks, why review the same safe house from scratch 1,000 times? Suppose a jurisdiction develops a library of pre-reviewed ADUs, cottages, duplexes, small houses, accessible homes, and modular designs. Site-specific issues would still require review. Foundation, drainage, utilities, setbacks, soil. But much of the building design could already be known. The wizard calls these permit-ready homes. Combine them with factory construction and something interesting happens. Known design, known cost, known permit pathway, known financing, known installer equals predictable housing. Predictability itself reduces cost. Infrastructure is the hidden housing program. Then Dizzy draws 20 inexpensive houses. The wizard draws one very expensive sewer line. The houses disappear underneath it. Book 2 must therefore confront roads, water, sewer, septic, stormwater, electricity, broadband, and emergency access. Housing cannot expand where infrastructure cannot support it. But requiring every modest household to independently reproduce expensive infrastructure can defeat affordability. Possible solutions include shared utility systems, appropriately designed community wastewater systems, small lot infrastructure, phased-in development, public infrastructure partnerships, utility districts, microgrids, and strategic infill where infrastructure already exists. HUD's prior pro-housing work found communities identifying inadequate infrastructure alongside high land costs and outdated permitting and land use processes as barriers to expanding housing. Infrastructure reform belongs inside housing reform. Preserve the cheap house before replacing it. Then the wizard looks at an old neighborhood. The houses aren't glamorous, but people can afford them. Should we demolish these and build affordable housing? Dizzy looks confused. Those are affordable houses. The wizard lowers the bulldozer brochure. Preservation is sometimes the cheapest form of housing production. Repair the roof, fix the plumbing, update unsafe wiring, improve insulation, repair the HVAC, make the bathroom accessible, keep the household in place. HUD notes that aging housing stock and physically inadequate homes reduce the effective supply of safe, affordable housing, particularly in rural communities. Therefore, Book 2 will treat home repair as an affordable housing strategy. A house saved can be as important as a house built. The wizard's solution stack. By midnight, the wizard has constructed a new equation. Affordable housing does not require one gigantic federal program, one magical zoning law, or one futuristic house. It requires many smaller solutions stacked together. Smaller homes, better use of existing land, ADUs missing. Middle housing factory construction, reuse of suitable buildings, shared infrastructure, fast, predictable permitting, affordable financing community. Land trusts and shared equity, repair of existing housing, low operating costs, different housing for different people, a much larger supply of attainable homes. Dizzy studies the formula. Will that solve everything? No? Then why are you smiling? Because it doesn't have to. The wizard points to the wall. If every tool solves 5% of the problem, Dizzy understands. Eventually, we stop looking for the one tool that solves 100%. Exactly. That becomes the philosophy of Book 2. The wizard's second great housing principle. Book 1 gave us, a cheap structure is not affordable housing until the entire system around it is affordable. Book 2 adds, there is no single housing crisis. There are overlapping problems involving land, supply, construction, regulation, finance, infrastructure, maintenance, income, and personal circumstances. Therefore, there will be no single housing solution. There will be a toolbox. The wizard closes the notebook. Dizzy looks at him. So where do we start? The wizard points through the laboratory window. At the backyard. Right there, Global Robotics Corporation, Robert Colee.